Do you wake up stiff and sore in the morning? If so, it could be something to do with the way that you walk. So, walking is one of the most fundamental things we do as humans. Almost everybody does it on a daily basis. But are you walking as efficiently as you possibly could? And if you're not walking very efficiently, or you are compensating as you're going through your movement patterning when walking, then it could be causing a lot of excess inflammation, which translates into pain and stiffness when you wake up. So I want to go through today good walking biomechanics, or sort of what we want to be establishing at each stage of the gait cycle or the walking cycle. And then we're going to go through a few of my favorite exercises to start to train each individual component, as well as piecing it all together so that you can start to walk a lot more efficiently and hopefully wake up feeling less stiff and sore in the morning. So we want to go through and start off with good walking biomechanics. And so I want to explain to you here with a few visual demonstrations. So as we start going through our gait, we start our gait cycle by pushing or hitting, placing our heel on the floor. We then go through from our heel and we roll onto the balls of our feet. And as we do that, we're creating an internal rotation movement, or our shin starts to roll in. And then when our shin starts to roll in, our foot starts to roll in, and we go from sort of like the middle of our heel to the inside or the base of the first metatarsal head, which is the base of your big toe. And then once we get that contact point of the base of the first metatarsal head with the ground, that shoots a message to your brain to switch on your glute med, which is a muscle on the side of your hip. And that glute med stops you from over rolling in or over pronating through your foot. As you hit that base of your big toe, you will also then start to press down through your little toes, which helps to create the arch in your foot. That arch in your foot, for anyone that wants a little bit of extra information, is your windlass mechanism. And so that windlass mechanism is the mechanism where the muscles in the feet create this arch. So it starts to create that arch, which then allows you to recruit the calf muscles to do a calf raise, and then the glutes are secondary role after it stops that internal rotation of the foot and ankle is it's a hip extender. So your calves lift you up, your hips push you forwards, and then you fall forwards onto the other leg and you start the cycle again. So as we go through, we want to step forward. We can see that heel touches. We start sort of on the outside of the foot, but then as we get better contact, we start to roll through that mid-foot joint or pronation. We now get connection at the base of our big toe, which gets our glutes to stop that internal rotation movement. So it stops that internal rotation movement, which then allows us to start to create that arch of the foot and toe off. So in real time, it'll look like that. We roll through, we get base at the big toe, glute med stops us rolling further. We now are able to establish the arch of our foot here through the intrinsic muscles of the feet by the little toes pressing down. We then go into a calf raise, hip extension, fall forwards, and we go onto the other side. So in real time, it looks a little something like this. One of the things we get a lot when we see people walk is they will walk with a waddle pattern. So when they walk, they will actually walk side to side. But once you see a side on, you can see we actually want to go up and over the toes. So we're thinking more like a choo-choo train, up and over, then a waddle side to side. So up and over, rather than a side-to-side walk. And the reason why we do that side-to-side walk is we don't have very glute med strength, which is what stabilizes us in sort of a sagittal plane and stops us from rocking out too far. But it's also something that we need to train in people because it gets pretty lazy with all the sitting down and the lack of movement variability that we have in our day-to-day lives. So now that we know what muscles we're meant to be using when we go through our gait cycle, it's now time to start training those individual components and then tying it all together by doing some growth movement patterns where we're using them all in sequence at the right time. So one of the first exercises that we will give people is a band under the toe glute activation exercise. And so with this, we just want to make sure the band's underneath the base of the big toe. So that area where we're going to get that contact through the foot, and it's going to stop us from over pronating, but it's also going to be the point where we start to establish the arch of our foot, and it's also going to be the one where we start to get the glutes firing. So this is a really nice one to start to teach the arch of your foot and your glutes how to fire together. And so from here, we're just going to stomp on the band, we'll slide the ankle through the other side. We can do a little bit of a knee drop and a little bit of a bum shift back, and we can just tap out. And you can see that as we do this drill, I'm nice and stable on this leg. So we're primarily challenging the intrinsic muscles of the feet and the glute to keep everything nice and stable. We don't want to go too far with that movement and actually get some dropping in, because then we're just starting to train that dysfunctional pattern. A good starting point for this is anywhere from 2 sets to 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps here. The second exercise we're going to do is just a calf raise with a band around the tops of the ankles. So this again teaches us to create tension through the arch of the foot, but it's also teaching us to create external rotation tension through our shin bones. And so we just chuck the band around the tops of the ankles. We push out so that we feel our glute switch on. We also feel our arch of our foot switch on. And then we can do our calf raises here, which gets us to target a little bit more at the back of the calf and gets rid of any of those compensation patterns of you sort of like rolling out onto the outside of the ankle or collapsing too much through the inside of the ankle. If you do this, you can start off with it just flat on the floor, but if you want to go through a bit more range of motion, you can just grab a little step or a book or a rolled up towel at home, so you start to get through a little bit more range of motion below parallel on the ankle. It'll start to replicate our toe off position where we actually start with the ankle a little bit behind us. The final exercise, we're now going to push the band up around the tops of the knees. So this is going to give us more of a glute med bias when we're stabilizing the hip. And we're going to go into a similar position that we went into with the band under toe glute activation. But now we're just going to do a 3-point tap out. So we can tap out to the side, we'll tap back on the 45, and we can tap straight back. So we're just starting to teach that glute med to stabilize in all different directions as we're going through our gait cycle. And this becomes handy if we're walking on an uneven surface, we're walking on something with a bit of a slant, or if we're working on an uphill or a downhill movement. We get all different planes of motion for that glute med stabilization. So there are a couple of my favorite exercises to help in retraining your gait and making your walking pattern a bit more efficient. Give them a go. Let us know how you find them. Let us know which one you liked best in the comments below. If you found this helpful and you want more stuff like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We update videos pretty regularly. You can also go and check out our website where we have a bunch of more blog articles just like this one. And we also have our top 3 lower back exercise ebook, which you can find in the links below in the comments.